right?
What's going on, everybody, man? This is Kenny Cummins here, chilling with Kenny C, right here at TMVCafe.com, bringing you entertainment to your ears. I'm joined with a veteran MC, been doing his thing for a very, very long time, independent, doing his thing. He's got a new record out called The Dangerous Unk. It's
Yeah.
available on all streaming platforms right now. The one and only BLIZM is joining me right now. How's it going, man?
What's happening, brother? Happy to be here, man. Thanks for the invitation to the platform, and I'm ready to get into the conversation about the new album, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Congratulations on the release of this record. Now it's called The Dangerous Unk,
Yep.
and as we all know, the word Unk, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But talk a little bit about the whole process of recording The Dangerous Unk.
Well, for those who may not be familiar with me at all, this is actually my first album that I've done. I've actually released in 15 years. It's been 15 years since I actually released an actual album. If you don't really know me or my background, I've been involved in the media space and the radio space for the past 15 years, building up a platform that I own and operate called K100 Radio, based out of Atlanta. And so I started my journey, of course, just being an independent artist and a producer. Actually, just an artist first. Now I kind of graduated into learning how to produce. Then I went to school and learned audio engineering. So I'm a producer, artist, songwriter, and audio engineer. Right. So the first decade of my career as an independent artist, I ran my own independent label, which I still own, which is Shameless Entertainment. I put out several albums. This is actually my fifth solo album. It's the ninth project that came out on the label, and not including a couple other projects that we kind of sort of co-produced and kind of put out with other people. So with that being said, I spent like the first decade just doing my music, doing my thing, grinding. But that's the CD era. I was slinging CDs out the trunk. Just going around performing, doing everything. Doing everything that you do as an independent artist. And about 10 years into it, I just it was this was around 2010. I started my career in about 1999, 2000. I created my label. I put my first album out in the year 2000. So around about 10 years in, after I had did a couple of solo albums and other projects and produced projects, I just felt like, one of the things I just noticed back then, it's a lot different now, but back then, 2000, 2009, 8ish, it wasn't a lot of platforms. This is before podcasts popped off and internet radio and everything. It just wasn't a lot of media platforms for independent artists. And, with my training when I went back to school to learn audio engineering, I basically went to the school for media production. That was a degree. And I learned a whole bunch of other skill sets at that same time. So this is around the time the technology for internet radio start coming out. It's just very new back then, but I'm a tech guy, so I was kind of up on it. And I just felt like, listen, there wasn't enough platforms out for independent artists like myself, so I decided to dabble in it and see, what would come of it. And lo and behold, it completely took off. And, you know what I'm saying? And it became really popular. K100 Radio has been really popular for over these past 15 years with independent artists and independent artist community. So that took me away from my craft, honestly. And I started to really like it. I started to enjoy it. I got really busy. And all of a sudden, I blink it is 15 years since I actually dropped the album. I've dropped a couple of songs here and there in between. I've had some songs, sync placed and stuff like that, and collaborated with other people, executive produced and produced music for other artists on the label. But my own projects never really came out because I just kept pushing it to the back. Like, I'll get to it, and you know what I mean? I just kept, all of a sudden, man, it's just like all this time passed, and it's like, man, I haven't dropped an album in forever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even though I had these couple of singles here and there. So, and the industry changed. It became a real single driven industry, so it didn't make sense. Plus, I was getting older, you know what I mean? So then, we had this whole thing where, do you remember the whole era where ageism was really bad with hip hop and, yeah, you too old to rap, and people like, nah, you need to give it up, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. I never really gave a damn, honestly, but just the mood of the industry and the mood of the people. But then that started to shift. In the past couple of years, we've seen some success from some older artists drop projects. We've seen Nas come out hard. We've seen LL Cool J drop a great project with great reviews. We've seen Clips win a Grammy. We've seen Killer Mike win a Grammy. And so some of the artists that were a little bit longer in the tooth were getting long tours and dropping projects, and it was more accepted. And so I just felt like the time was right now. So that's a little bit of the background why it took so long, for me to drop this project. And it's special to me, and it took me a while to craft it. But all things being equal, it's probably one of my best.
Absolutely, man. Obviously, with hip hop in particular, a lot has changed
Yeah,
since 2010, 2000, and the early 2010s in particular. You know, with podcasts wasn't much of a thing back then.
yeah,
Hip hop, I think it was going through a phase. It was
yeah.
going through like the snap phase, I think it was.
Hmm.
Atlanta took over. That was when they was, it was shifted towards them.
Yeah,
Um, but as far as independent artists, man, like props to you for just staying within it while juggling with other things that you was doing, radio,
yeah,
producing, um, having your independent label. Like you find other ways to be a part of it.
yeah, yeah,
I admire your hustle, man. I admire what you've done doing that whole span and everything, and you definitely hit the head with the ageism thing.
yeah.
Um, it's hip hop. It's like hip hop is the only genre that goes through this,
Yep,
and it ain't just come from some random people. It usually comes from people in their own community,
yep,
telling people like it's a young man's game. Like there, Nas is doing it. Clips is doing it. Common is doing it. Jay-Z about to have not one but two concerts. He's in his 50s. It
yep.
seems like
Right.
he about to have not one but two concerts in Yankee Stadium in the
And,
summer.
and they're gonna all say, and they're gonna sell out both of them
Yeah,
quickly, quickly. Yeah,
yeah.
quickly.
I feel like that's the only thing Jay hasn't done as far as concerts. He already sold out Madison Square Garden numerous of times.
Right. Yeah.
So it seemed like Yankee Stadium
Yeah.
was
That's
the
that's gonna
last
happen.
that was the and celebrating
Yep.
25-year anniversary of Blueprint and 30-year anniversary of Reasonable Doubt.
Hmm.
That's incredible.
And that's kind of sort of some of the things that were like the inspiration for me coming back into the game. Like I said, I've said it in several interviews that I've been done since the album came out. Like the whole point of the album, as far as me calling it the Dangerous Unk and focusing on the Unk is, and first of all, embracing how old I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm almost in my 50s. I'm not in my 50s yet, but I'm pushing it, right? And so for me, I think a lot of the reason why a lot of people kind of sort of was like irritated with some of the older artists around, back in the day, maybe 10 years ago, because it seems like maybe 10 years ago when older artists were trying to come out, a lot of them were trying to sound young still. They were coming out, putting out music, trying to sound like they're 20, trying to have a 20-something-year-old swag, using 20-something-year-old lingo and even fashion, and it didn't make sense. And people were like, yo, you tripping. Like, so I feel like after a while, the older heads started to start thinking about it and started getting like, yo, you know what? Hip hop is 50 years old now. All of the fans that grew that from that era that we came up and we were in our 20s, they're all grown now too. They got mortgages, they got kids in college, and so you have to change as you evolve as a person and as a man. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, you're not the same kind of person you was 20 years ago, so it would seem like your music should evolve. And I feel like the older artists sort of got it, and they was like, listen, we can still do our thing and be ourselves, but we got to start going into mode. We got to start going into mentor and teacher mode on these tracks instead of making it seem like we're still out here in the trap and we still in the club doing the same thing we was doing 20 years ago. And that's why the album is called The Dangerous Art, because on most of the material, if you listen to it and you heard it, I really am in a mentorship kind of teacher mode. I give you tales, I give you my life. Everything on the album is true. People who know me know I'm not a big person on fabricating my life. I've never really done it. You know what I'm saying? So this is a first person perspective album. This is about me. You know what I'm saying? It's a personal album, but it's also about where I'm at now and where I came from. And so when you listen to the songs and when you go through the tracks, a lot of it, I'm talking about the fact that I'm older. I'm talking about the fact that I'm the head of my household. You feel me? I'm talking about the fact I want my family together with family ties. You feel what I'm saying? I'm talking about my different personalities that I developed all over these years with three of us. All of these records are like to show you the growth. But at the same time, the pen is still sharp. You feel me? At the same time, I picked some really great soulful production. I ain't got no trap beats on it, no drill beats. I got one song that's kind of trappish, which is like Nephew, but that's on purpose because it's satire, right? If you hear what I'm saying in the song, right?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's purposely I got that kind of beat on that song because I'm talking about don't make me act like Nephew. I'm an unk now. Don't make me revert back, right? So it's I got a trap beat because you know what I'm saying. That's the point. But other than that, you know, the music more soulful, and also I really wanted to display over the years, I've been known for my songwriting. I've been a ghostwriter for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to display my songwriting ability. So it's a melodic album. You know, I feel like the best parts of hip hop, some of my favorite hip hop songs have R&B blend singing on the hook. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You know, Mary J and Meth. You know, Biggie and R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ja Rule and Ashanti. Like, whatever you want to go through. Like, some of the biggest hip hop records have singing on the hook. So that's why it's a lot of melodic stuff going on. Because from that era, those were some of my favorite records. So there's a lot of singing and R&B blends on the album. And it's a grown album. So I didn't make the album with 20-year-olds in mind. If they like it, cool. Maybe they got an old soul. Frankly, I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? I didn't make it for them in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So the album is really for the unks and the aunties.
Yeah, shout out to the aunts. Shout out to the aunties. Definitely got something on display. You know, we're about to get into the warm weather. We're about to get into spring. We're about to get into summer.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's going to be something for the cookouts, you know.
Right.
Get that barbecue, get that sauce going, the ribs and everything, hot dogs, lemonade. Yeah, man, you got a lot on display with this record, man.
Yeah.
One of a song that's on there. One of my favorite songs is "Clean Up Nice."
Yes, the single, the single, yeah.
Winner is on the track, and it's tailor made for the 35 and up. You know, what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So you talk about, you know, in your unk age, on your unk era, record, growing up, being a mentor, giving advice to, you know, to the people out there, and that's why I appreciate this record. I appreciate this. I'm in that demographic, 35 and up,
right?
And you know, so you know, sometimes, you know, people from our era, we need that.
Yeah.
So we need that substance. We need a combination of, yeah, we get the fun, good vibes,
cool,
all that stuff, but we also need some message, you know, within these songs. So this is a dope record, man. Definitely one of my favorite albums I've heard in 2026 thus far.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be putting it out there on my platforms and stuff, and start playing it on rotations and things like that. So yeah, man.
Word.
So congratulations again on this record, man. What else you have? So with this record already been released,
right?
People are getting a feel for it.
Yeah.
Marinating, things like that. What else you have? You know, you've talked about some of the other things that you've been working on outside of music. What else do you have on the horizon? What else you got coming up? Whether it's other artists or your label or other projects, what else you got going on?
Well, if I'm being 100% honest, because this is so new, like the album hasn't even been out a month yet. Like tomorrow will be the album just dropped in a month. So like me and the whole team are like locked in with pushing the dangerous unk. So, you know, if there's something that's on the horizon, I'm pretty sure there will be, because people are, you know how it is when you have motion. You know, when you have motion and people see you got motion, it's like they want to kind of jump on and kind of like, you know, ride that wave. I do have a couple of features that I did with artists as I was recording this album, that they licking their chops asking me, yo, can we drop it yet? Can we drop it yet? I'm like, let me get this album. Let me get this album like 2 or 3 months to breathe before you drop that single. That, you know what I'm saying? I had that agreement with them. Like, listen, you gotta wait for my album to drop, because when I drop it, I'm gonna be going crazy and I ain't gonna have time to like properly give it, you know, the attention that you kind of want me to give, because I'm gonna be promoting my shit. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? saying? So, you know what I mean? So, I got a couple of features that's going to be coming. I got a feature with one of the artists that's actually on the album named Yoshi. Me and him got a really dope record. And Yoshi's a really popular artist down here in Atlanta. He's been doing this thing for a long time. You know what I'm saying? He's got a really popular fan base. The cat in the hat that can rap. Well, you've got to see him. This whole thing is crazy. He was at South by Southwest all over the place. He was an official South by Southwest artist this year. You know what I'm saying? On like 4 of their stages. And he's featured on the Like Nephew record, and me and him have a song that's coming out on his project. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty dope. And a couple other people. So that's like other stuff that I got going on. But honestly, like right now, I've really been focused on doing this. We getting ready to gear up to start shooting visuals for the album. You know what I'm saying? Clean Up Nice is the very first single, the song that you talked about, which is a grown and sexy record. You know what I'm saying? So we're getting ready to shoot the visual for Clean Up Nice. I expect to shoot nothing less than 3 or 4 visuals for this album at the minimum. Could be more, depends on how I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying? But 3 or 4 this album is a visual. The way the album is like a lot of the songs, you know, they deserve visuals and videos. So we're finna get ready to really go, you know, really into that. The vinyl for the album just came out today. I literally just got those back. So this is the first album that I actually pressed up vinyl. And if you've been looking at the news and you're in the industry, you realize that for the first time since 1983, vinyl crossed a billion in sales for the first time since 1983, just the other day on Tuesday. And that message was put out by Billboard. It was an article on Billboard that came out. I think it was Billboard. Yeah, it was Billboard, I think. Yeah. And there was like, for the first time since 1983, vinyl has sold 1 billion copies. So vinyl's on a real resurge. So that was real strategic. And you know, even though the album came out a couple of weeks ago, the vinyl is a backlog. So it took them a minute to get it. So I'm really excited about the fact that we got the vinyl back. We just put it in the stores down here in DBS Sounds here in Atlanta, and it'll be available to purchase on my website at chainlessent.com. So I'm really excited to see how that moves, just from a economical standpoint, me being the label owner and everything. And you know, we've got the merch and everything was working with the merch and everything. And we even had CD sales do good this time. So physical, tangible product is really back on the rise. But I'm really interested to just see how this vinyl works and see how the profits come back and the margins and how quickly they move with this. So that's something that I'm looking forward to. But as far as new projects, I can't tell you, because honestly, I've been saying since the moment I was about to drop this that this was my last album, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like this might be my last actual album. I'm not saying I'm not going to do music anymore, but I felt like this might be my last album. And it took a lot to put it together, man. So, and it takes a lot. I've been doing a real rollout, if anybody's been paying attention. So, rolling the album out the correct way takes a lot when you're an independent artist and you're an independent label. You know what I mean? So, I just feel like, I don't know what's going to be next. I've got some other things that I'm doing with the film side that people know I deal with that may come out. But as far as music, I don't know, man. Right now, it's just all about this project because it's so fresh and so new.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the visual.
Yeah.
Clean Up Nice. You know,
yeah.
That's going to be a lot of fun. And thank you for the information about the vinyls. So what I've been hearing about the vinyls is there has been a legitimate surge.
Yes.
The fact that first time since 1983 that is up to 1 billion.
Yep.
I also read an article that vinyls were selling more than albums.
Yeah. As far as the vinyl is selling more than CDs. Yes. So vinyls are selling more than CDs. And here's the thing. It's because, and I have a shout out to DBS Sounds. I want to give him a personal shout out right now. Yeah. Because, you know, shout out to DeBago, the guy that owns it. He's been in business 30 years. One of the last few black-owned independent record stores that you can find in the country, right? And he's been in the business for over 30 years, and he's always showed love to independent artists as long as you got your stuff together. You know what I mean? Which I do. You know what I'm saying? And so he got the CDs, but even he was telling me, as I was telling him, you know, Tobago, I'm gonna do another project. And you know, we've been rocking for a long time, over 20 years. It's like, BLIZM, if you don't do nothing else, you know, make sure you get vinyl. He said, my record store sells more vinyl than CDs, and it's not even close. So this is like information I'm getting firsthand from actual record store owners. Not to mention what I'm already knowing, just reading articles and just you know, being a part, you know, watching Illuminate reports and, you know, all this kind of industry stuff that I'm involved in. Just really seeing where the trends are going, and it's because I think it's the nostalgic side of it, but now people are kind of wanting tangible stuff. You know what I mean? People want these tangible items because social media and streaming and everything just made people feel so disconnected from artists. And I feel like now they're right back to like, I want to have something after I leave that show, and not just a shirt. Like I want to have a product. And then a lot of the times, what's crazy is what I'm hearing is they don't even open the, they don't even have to have a record player, and they don't even want to open the vinyls a lot. They just want you to like sign them and then sit them on the shelf type situation. Some people don't even have record players. They don't even want to play them. They just want them as like a keepsake. You know what I'm saying? To show that they really rock them and support that person. And that's cool with me however they want to get it, because they listen to Spotify, they got Apple Music, but then they, when they walk in their room and on their shelf, when they got that nice looking album sitting up there in the collection, it makes them feel the kind of way. And I think this generation is starting to get back into that. So I think that's why it's surging. Don't tell me, like, don't quote me as like being 100% the reason, but that's just what I'm getting from some of the people that I've talked to and record store owners.
Yeah. I agree, man. It definitely feels like at least the younger generation starting to embrace vinyl.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even matter if they have the record players or not. They just want. And yeah, so streaming has, I feel like, it has distanced people from the experience. Like I remember the Best Buy days. For Fridays, go there, get your CD copies and things like that.
Yeah.
And I'll be buying a boatload of CDs. And yeah, so and the vinyls, that's our parents' generation.
Right. Right.
I be at my mom and dad's house, and I see my dad's got an office, and he has a boatload of vinyls, like
Mhm.
on a shelf somewhere. I'm talking Motown. I'm talking Meatloaf. I'm talking all sorts of music.
Yeah.
He got all sorts of vinyl of a variety of artists. And so the fact that this generation is embracing it and willing to buy it, whether they have a record player or not, that's telling something. The people like to collect stuff, obviously,
Right.
but now that on the music side of things, vinyl is really becoming a thing for a very long time.
Yeah.
So shout out to the vinyl collectors.
For
Shout out to
real. And it's crazy. It's crazy because it's very difficult. It's a whole nother process. And just to give you a little kind of sort of inside info, like for instance, what I learned, like I like to share knowledge. What I learned, which is what is different about vinyl, is the way that it's actually created. It limits you so much, like how much actual audio you can actually put on the median. So for instance, on the vinyl version of the album Dangerous Unk, there's only 12 tracks. There's 14 on the CD and there's 14 on the streaming sites. But I literally had to cut 2 tracks out and also shave the run times down and fade off all the other songs on the album about 15 to 20 seconds before they really fade out on the rest of on the streaming and the CD, just so it can actually fit, because you can only fit so many minutes on vinyl. And that's why, and just from another thing, like the way you mix it and the way it's mastered, like all that, you have to do everything, and then it takes super long to get done. I sent the CDs and the vinyls off at the same time, and the vinyls just got back. You know what I'm saying? And I did a rush order. You feel what I'm saying? Like listen, it takes much longer to make it because the process it's literally wax. Like it's not like you can't just throw it in a machine and then duplicate it and spit it out, in 60 seconds like a CD, like digital. It's a whole process. And so you have to understand that if you're an independent artist and you're watching this, you plan on doing vinyl, number one, have your money right, because it's way more expensive, first and foremost. And secondly, your audio, you're gonna have 2 different versions. The versions of your audio that you send into the vinyl shop will not be the same, and you cannot fit over 48 minutes on it, no matter what. So if you got 18, 20, whatever tracks, you're going to have to mix some tracks, shave down some times and everything like that just to make it fit. You know what I'm saying? Unless you want to do a double, which is really going to be expensive. I was like, before I do the double, I'll just remove 2 tracks and shave some stuff down and give it to the people like that. You know what I'm saying? But so that's just some inside information that people, if you want to get into vinyl, if you're an artist, you know what I'm saying, you want to do a whole album, those are a couple of things that you should consider if you're watching this.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's definitely something to keep in mind, to all the independent artists out there, or anyone that wants to have this the music, future music out via vinyl. So
Yep.
the Dangerous are already on the streaming platforms right now, and
Yep.
as BLIZM just pointed out, the vinyl version is on the way. So be on the lookout for it. Check out the social. media sites. Check out the websites, and he'll keep you posted on that. I want to thank you, man, for joining me on this platform. Congrats again
Thank you.
on this release. It's an incredible project. It's for the grown folks, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now for the unks and the aunties, as he pointed out. So y'all go support this man's album, man. Like, especially those that's been rocking with him since day one. This is his first release in over a decade and a half.
Yeah.
So he put his heart into this, man. So y'all rock with him with the not just with the streaming, but if you're a vinyl collector, it's gonna be coming out eventually, and go buy that as well. You have a good night, man. Enjoy the rest of your week and weekend, and
Absolutely.
have a great spring and rest of 2026. Thank you for your time, man.
Absolutely, man. And anybody want to get with me on social media, just type in BLIZM. It'll pull right up. Like, you can't miss me. You know what I mean? BLIZM, like it's on the screen.
Yes, sir. You have a good night, man.
All right, man. Salute.
Salute. All right.